Hello everyone, Denise here. Today I'm going to bring you a hat tutorial. This is the Ought to Be Autumn hat. This is the Stitch in the Round for Paying It Forward Friday, October 2023. So I'm going to be using 4 colors on my hat. You can use one. You can use any yarn and any hook. Your yarn can be striping yarn, variegated yarn, any yarn you want. I'm using 4 colors. 3 are going to be on the brim, and then I'm going to do the main color, the solid 1 color on the body of the hat. So if you pick up 4 of these, chances are you're probably going to be able to make 4 hats if you do it the way I am doing it. So this is Hobby Lobby yarn. This is Yarn Bee Pearlspun. This is low pill fiber. I recently reviewed this yarn. I can link that below. This color is Malayan Garnet. This one right here is Rust. This one right here is Citrine Dream, and this one is Moss. I thought they were very fall looking. Specs on the yarn are, it is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. It is 3.5 ounces, 100 grams, 150 yards, 137 meters. It calls for an eye hook, and that is what I have here. And you can machine wash and dry this. Really good yarn. You'll have to check out the review that I did on it if you're interested to see a more in-depth look at the yarn itself. So this hat is worked bottom up, and we are going to start with the brim. So I'm going to grab my hook, which is 5.5 eye hook. It is my clover hook, and we're going to get started. So like I said, I'm doing 3 colors for the brim. I'm going to change colors on my brim. I'm going to work the hat in 1 color. So I'm gonna start with the rust color, which is the deep orange here, and get started. This is an easy brim you can put on any hat that you want. It is all depending on how wide you want your brim to be. If you want your brim to fold up, make your starting chain longer. And I can draw you a little diagram if you do not understand what I'm talking about, but chances are if you've made a hat, you know what I'm talking about. So let me grab a piece of paper. I will show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to start with a band, and that would be bottom up style hat. Our band is as wide as we want it to be. So you can have a thin band and then have a beanie style hat, or you can have a longer band and have a fold up style hat. So your hat would end up being like really long like this. And then depending on how long you want your brim, you would just fold up how much you wanted. So our brim could actually be as wide as this, and then you would fold up, so it would be half that. So you'd fold up. That's actually the easier method to make sure that you're getting a hat that fits somebody if you don't know their exact measurements. So I will show you how to do that. We will be doing single crochets, and we will be working into the back loops. Now that is because that makes a rib. So I will put a list of general sizes in the description box below for you to go by if you don't know what size hat you're making, and you can use that as a general guide. If you know, then just make your band 3 or 4 inches smaller than the person's head that you're making it for, because this band is very, very stretchy. So I start with a slip knot. And then you chain as many as you want your band to be wide, like this. So your hat is up here, and this is your band. What you're chaining right now is how much your band is going to be in length or height. So I'm going to, it doesn't matter what multiple you chain any multiple you want. We're going for length now. So that's probably as far as I'm going to go with length, because I am not doing a fold up beanie. So I will measure that and let you know the size of that. about 3 inches, so that sounds about right. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to chain one more, so I have 10. Okay, and then in the second chain from the hook, in the back bump right here, we're going to put a single crochet in the back bump. Chain one, turn. Now looking at the top of your work here, you will see little V's all the way. The back loop is right here. This is the front loop. This is the back loop. We're going to go in the back loop for our row 2. Back loop only, single crochets. Chain one and turn. Back loop again, single crochets. Chain one, turn, back loop, single crochets. Going to do that for as long as you want. I'm going to work my band to be around 16, 17 inches or so. At that point, I'm going to stop, but I am going to change color somewhere along the line here so that I have 3 colors in my band. I'm going to have the red, I'm going to have the yellow, and I'm going to have this orange, and then the body of my hat is going to be green. So I am going to work a section of orange just like I'm doing, and then I'm going to work a section of red, and then I'm going to work a section of yellow. But I'm not changing color, you know, every few rows or anything. I'm just going to keep working and then change color. So if I went, say, 15 inches on my band and it fit around my head, I would probably do my color sections, since I'm dividing it. I probably would make them 5 inches each, the color sections. So if you're making one like me and you're changing colors, just be aware that if you want it to be divided evenly, make your band a number that is divisible by the colors that you are using. So if you're using 4 colors and you went 16 inches, you would make each section of color 4 inches. I'm going to keep working this until I am around 5 inches. And then I am going to switch colors to the red. So I will meet back up with you in just a minute when I get around 5 inches of the orange brim. So I am at 6 inches on my orange section. I am going to switch to red, and I am making sure that I am on the bottom part of my brim. You can see the tail down here. So it's just easier if you weave in your tails so that if you're not folding your brim up, this side looks nice and clean. That's a preference, so you can do whatever you want. I just think it looks better when all of the ends that are going to get woven in are on one side. Changing yarn is very easy. All you need to do is leave your stitch unworked at the end of your row. Join your yarn in and pull up your last loop of the single crochet stitch. Now as you work your next row, keep hold of these 2 tail ends here. Chain 1, turn, and then work as normal in the back loops. And once you are done, you can weave them ends in, and it will be seamless there. So I'm going to work 6 more inches in this color in red. Then I'm going to work 6 inches in the Citrine Dream. And then I will be back to you to start the main part of the hat and our stitch patterning for the body of the hat. So you finish your brim, I'll finish mine, and I'll meet back up with you in a moment. This color is beautiful. So I am about at around 18 inches, a little over 18 inches at this point. The band is actually pretty large on my head. I would say I don't barely have to stretch it at all. This ribbing gives a lot of stretch. I think I probably could have went 15 inches and would have been perfectly fine. So just make sure that you are adjusting as needed. If you make it too large, it will end up not actually being a brim of sorts to keep the hat on your head, but it will just be extra length on your hat. So keep that in mind. You do not need to go like a typical brim. A lot of people say to just subtract like 1 inch. No, this one you need to subtract a lot. So 15 inches for an adult head with my gauge. Your gauge will be different because you crochet differently than I do. To put it together, you can whip stitch it, you can slip stitch it, and you can single crochet it together. Single crocheting it together would be starting at the end you left off with, going in the corner of the other one, pulling up like this, and then doing a single crochet. And you would go in both sides like that. If you want to slip stitch it, you would do the same thing, except you wouldn't finish as a single crochet, you would just pull up. I would advise to do that loosely if you're going to do that. And whip stitching is taking the yarn and going in and out of both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish with single crochets. and then cut your end, and you can weave that in. If you are not changing colors, just leave your yarn attached. If you weren't changing colors, you could fold out the right side of your work and continue working from here. But I did, so I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to weave in that end later. So we're going to start the body of the hat now. The body of the hat, I'm going to make mine in green. So we have fall colors throughout. Our trees are still green in our front yard. A lot of trees around the neighborhood are turning yellow and orange and beautiful colors. Our woodbine, if you know what that is, it's a creeper plant. It's a crawly vining plant, yes. It's bright red in spots as well. It's just beautiful. I love it. Starting with green. We are going to go into whatever space you want to go into if you're attaching your color. Doesn't matter. I'm going to chain one, and we're going to do a single crochet round. So we're going to start in every spot that we have a row that we did last time. Remember, we did back bumps. So every row, we're going to put a single crochet in. And it does not matter how many stitches you have. This patterning, the stitches are any number. So you can have odd, even, does not matter. Any number of stitches. So I'm going to put single crochet in all the way around. It does not matter what your stitch count is when you are done. Just put your hook in wherever it feels comfortable. I will be right back to you in a moment. When you get around to the end, slip stitch into your first single crochet. And now we're going to chain 2 here. And that does not count as a stitch. We're going to put a double crochet in that same space as our chain 2. We're going to do a double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Well, I will meet up with you once I am done with all of my double crochets. Once you get all the way around, remember we're ignoring this chain 2 here. We're going to slip stitch into the top of our double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to put a half double crochet in that same stitch. We're going to put a half double crochet in every stitch all the way around. Once we get to the end of this round, I'm going to show you how to make the patterning look a little more interesting. But if you do not want to do anything different, you could just keep doing this pattern. You could do double crochets and half double crochets alternating rounds. But next round I'm going to show you how I am designing the pattern, and that is just a little bit different than just normal stitches. So I will meet back up with you once I get my half double crochets done. Once you get around to the end, slip stitch into the top of your half double crochet and ignore that chain 1 there. Now I'm going to do the little interesting part. If you don't want to do this, go ahead and do a round of double crochets and then switch to half double after that. I'm going to make it just a little more interesting for me, so I'm going to chain 2 here, and that is not a stitch. Now I'm going to go to the 3rd loop. So if you're not familiar with the 3rd loop, you have front, back, turn your work ever so slightly, and right here you're going to see this. That is the 3rd loop. We're going to work into that, because if we work into that, we're going to have this beautiful V decoration facing us when our work is done. So let me show you how that is worked. We're doing normal double crochets. However, we are going to put them in that 3rd loop. So you will yarn over, turn your work so you see front, back. That's the normal V we see. And then this 3rd bump back here, 3rd loop, we're going into that. We're going to pull up our loop and finish like a normal double crochet. Okay, do that again, yarn over. This is front loop, this is back loop. We're going into 3rd loop, so we're going to turn our work slightly, and right behind our back bump here is our 3rd loop. We're going into that stitch and doing our double crochet. This yarn is perfect for this stitch because you can see the front, you can see the back, and you can see the 3rd very clearly. The stretch in this yarn also helps a ton. Front, back, we want to go into 3rd. Front, back, go into 3rd. And it gives that beautiful detailing. See those V's facing us? If we went into the stitch normally, this is what it would look like. So comparing the two, you can see going into that 3rd loop is put in this beautiful line of V's that are going to face us and get just some interest in the hat. Doesn't have to be super complicated to be interesting. So we're going to go into that 3rd loop. Each stitch all the way around, we're going to put a double crochet in that 3rd loop. Next round, we're just going to do a regular half double crochet round. And then the round after that, we're going to do this exact round again. So it will be a repeat of those 2 rounds. This round and a half double crochet round until we need to start decreasing. So I'm going to meet up with you once I'm done with this round and show you the half double round again. Once you get around to the end, you will slip stitch into your first double crochet, ignoring this chain here that we did. Okay, now we're just going to do half double crochets this round. So chain 1, put a half double crochet in that same stitch or space, and then do half double crochets in each stitch all the way around, just as you normally would. Next round, you're going to do the repeat of the round we just did previous to this one, and you're going to put double crochets in that 3rd loop, just like I showed you. You're going to work that patterning for the entire hat until you get to where you need to decrease for your brim. I will put a list of general sizes in my description box below that lets you know from crown to brim for the age range what length that would be. If you know what length it will be, go ahead and work the length that you want. I'm going to work around 7 to 8 inches on mine from brim, because I'm not using my brim as a fold-up brim. It's just going to be straight down around my ears. So starting from right here, you want your length figured out before we do our decreasing. And then once you get to that length, I'll meet back up with you and show you how to do the decreases. So next round is the double crochet in the 3rd loop. Round after that will be a half double crochet normal. Alternate that until you get to the length that you need if you're going to make a slouchy style hat. Typically, and depending on the slouch, you would want around 11 inches in length for your hat. So adjust accordingly as you see fit for your hat. I'm going to work for a while and I'll meet back up with you in just a moment. So I am at 7 inches right now for the height of my hat. I'm going to start my decreasing. It does not matter what round you are on. I will show you how to decrease on both rounds. So I just finished a half double crochet round, so I'm going to continue on in pattern with the double crochet round in the 3rd loop. So to decrease in that it's just like working into the stitch, except we're going to work 2 together. So I'm going to slip stitch to my first half double crochet here to begin. Then I'm going to chain my 2 and I'm going to put a double crochet in that 3rd loop back here. And I'm going to do that for the next few stitches. So I want to work 6 stitches and then decrease. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to do the decrease. So the decrease is just double crochet 2 together, and we're going to do that in that 3rd loop. So we're going to yarn over, go into our first 3rd loop, yarn over and pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over and go through 2. Okay, now we're going to yarn over, we're going to go into our next 3rd loop and go in there, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through all 3. That's 2 double crochets there that are crocheted together in the 3rd loop, because we have our first loop, our second loop, and that is our 3rd. So front, back, 3rd. Okay, so we're going to do 6 double crochets in our 3rd loop. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to do 2 together. So yarn over, go into that first 3rd loop right here. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go into the next 3rd loop. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 3. And we're going to work 6 double crochets in our 3rd loops. 2, 3, 4, and 6, and then 2 together. Yarn over, go into that first third loop there, go through 2, go in the next, go through 2, go through 3. Repeat this all the way around, and I will meet back up with you at the end of this round. All right, so I have decreased from my first round here. We're all different, right? We're all making different sizes. We all have different stitch counts. If you are going around your 6 stitches, when you get to the end here, if you don't have 6 or whatever that you are decreasing in, it's okay. It's fine. So I had a decrease here, and then I did 4 stitches, not 6. That's okay. You don't have, it doesn't matter. It's fine. Most of the time in patterns, the stitch count will be, you know, divided equally with a pattern, and it's all written out, do. This is different because we all started at a different size. We all had a different amount of stitches to begin with, and it doesn't matter what the stitch count is. So don't be worried about that. If you get to the decrease rounds and you are not adding up or landing evenly with your decreases, it's okay. It's all okay. It does not matter. Next round, I have to do a half double crochet round. So I will show you how to decrease on that. So if you weren't ending like I ended this last round, and you were doing a half double crochet round, this is how you would decrease half double crochets. Try to tuck that underneath so you can see the stitches better. So I'm going to slip stitch to my first double crochet there. And half double crochet rounds, we chain 1 and then we put a half double crochet in that same stitch. And then every 6 stitches, so this would be my second stitch, 3 half double, 4 half double, 5 half double, 6 half doubles. After our first 6 half double crochets, we're going to decrease. And to decrease a half double crochet in my pattern, we are going to yarn over, go into our first stitch, yarn over and pull up. We're going to go into the next stitch, no yarning over. Yarn over and pull up. We're going to yarn over and go through all 4, just like that. So we put 2 stitches together in 1 half double crochet. We're going to do that every 6 half double crochets. So 1 half double, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Decrease, yarn over, go in stitch, yarn over, pull up, go in next stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through all 4. Half double in the next 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Decrease. Do that all the way around, and I'm going to meet back up with you at the end of this round. So I am on a double crochet round, and I work into the 3rd loop. So I'm going to chain 2 and put a double crochet in that 3rd loop there. And I'm going to decrease every 2 stitches. So the next one I'm going to do like we always do in the 3rd loop. So that's 2 double crochets there in the 3rd loops. And now I'm going to double crochet 2 together in that 3rd loop. So yarn over, go to your 3rd loop, go in, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go into your next 3rd loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 3. Every 2 stitches we're going to do that. So the next 2 we're just doing double crochet in 3rd loop, next stitch, double crochet in 3rd loop. Next we're going to decrease. So 3rd loop, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through 2. Yarn over, go into the next one, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 3. And then do 2 as you normally would. I'm going to continue this all the way around, and I will meet back up with you in just a moment. You can see our hat is coming in now at the top. So on our next round, I have half doubles, and it doesn't matter if you have double crochets or half doubles to do. Same thing. I'm going to chain 1, I'm going to put a half double in that same stitch or spot, half double in the next stitch, and then half double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull up, go to the next stitch and pull up, and then yarn over and go through all 4. Every 2 stitches we're going to do that. So 2 half doubles and then a decrease. All the way around. So I will meet back up with you in just a moment when I am done. So I'm on a double crochet round, so I'm going to double crochet 2 together all the way around, starting with this very first stitch. Going into the next stitch, doing the same thing, double crochet 2 together. Just like I have shown you. And next round I'm going to do half doubles. And that way we stay in pattern, and our decorative beautiful V's on the side, they stay in pattern and you see them all the way up your hat. No matter if you're decreasing or not decreasing. I actually had an even number, so I got to crochet 2 together all the way around. If you end with 1 stitch, just go ahead and do it normal. Slip stitch to your beginning. And now I could cinch this. I could easily cinch this and it could be done. You can tell that. But I'm going to half double crochet 2 together all the way around, just to make sure that I have the top all finished off. So go into my first stitch and then the next one, go through all 4. Slip stitch to my first. Gonna cut a length of yarn about 10 inches or so. Pull that through. Going to drawstring the end. So wherever you leave off, I have just this tiny hole. But if you had like what I showed on last round, just weave in and out of your top stitches there. Okay? All the way around to your first beginning, and then you just pull it. And then I like to go in a stitch and go back down in that, so I can weave in the end in the hat, so it is less seen. And there you have it. I do have a little bit of grain left, but this hat is large. I can tell you, I told you the band when I was starting it was pretty large. This would definitely fit my husband without a doubt. The measurements are probably going to be pretty large. So the widest part of the hat is about 11.5. So we're looking at 23 inches with stretch. And then our band is 10.5. So we're looking at 21 inches with a lot of stretch. So this would definitely fit my husband. So if you make the beanie just like I did with this, you can still flip this up. This can be flipped up if it is too large on the person, and it can still have a brim just like this. So it still works no matter if you do a small brim or an even longer brim. So either way, however you want to create your hat for someone to wear, it's very, very flexible. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoy making this hat. You can share your makes with me on Instagram, and also you can email me anytime. My email is spiffyhandmade@gmail.com. I will put this up on my mannequin, although it's going to be larger than my mannequin's head size. It will still give you an idea of what it looks like on a head. And yeah, go take a look at the review video that I did on the yarn. It is excellent yarn. So if you have a Hobby Lobby near you, or if you don't know what to order, I highly suggest this yarn. It is fabulous. It's got great drape. So if you see that, you can tell that it's not like a normal stiff type fabric. It's nice, it's soft, it's squishy. I think you'll enjoy working with it a lot. It flows through your fingers very nicely. So I'm gonna put this on my mannequin so that you can see it. Now that's with the brim folded up. I told you my hat's large, so just to give you an idea of what it would look like on a person's head. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Until next time, guys. Bye.